Is there a toxic or a shadow side with this beautiful trait that Filipinos have, which is our closeness with each other? I've mentioned before, Filipinos are very comfortable, at least the ones in the motherland. But usually, even if you visit different countries, to be close, usually, even if they're OFW, if you're not familiar, these are overseas Filipino workers. Usually they're bunched up in, a small place, maybe by preference or maybe because they also don't have any option. Tsaka mas nakakatipid, you know? So why are Filipinos very close? And of course, in this channel, I'm just constantly learning, and I'm also like you, a student of the culture, can always comment and add to our insight because we're just all learning together. Una, first of all, we're very close kasi if you've seen even the bahay kubo, right? The configuration inside. It's usually very open. It gives the Filipino lots of moments to be together, whether watching together in the sala. So even the configuration, and we all started somewhere there, even though you're no longer living in the bahay kubo. Also, it's a country that it's an archipelago, and possibly to get by, to barter, you have to engage with one another. So it will be to our benefit, even though we live in different pulo, different islands, to connect with one another. Also, biologically, it is in our uh, benefit to be able to connect with each other. It's actually really our psychological and biological need because it helps us survive. So you could see monkeys, for instance, in very cold weather, in which they are able to survive because they huddle together. So similarly, humans are like that as far as how we evolve and how we adapt. So talking about weather, also the Philippines is one of the most typhoon visited country in the world. And so we need bayanihan, right? We need closeness so that we could receive help. And also part of that is to accept help. So this circular pattern of helping out, kagandahang loob, as we would say it. Another thing is that Filipinos are so close knit, as far as our family. It's often, I used to observe parents and how they carry their children. We call it karga, like when you're carrying younger children, and how in the Philippines we karga our children um, longer as far as like the age. Now, when I come and visit the Philippines, I see many of the moms carrying the carrier so that they could be hands free. We have karga, and then we also even karga them. Have them sit on our lap. So there's a culture of interdependence. So I think that's something very beautiful in our world today, where we are more individualistic, brought about by modernism and just the way we consume information. We forget that we could still rely on each other, which is so crucial, so that we could also share parts of our story with each other, because that's part of mythology, that's part of like religion, even that when we're together, even though we have different experiences, different um, culture, family upbringing, we come together, we have a shared story. One of the reasons, not the only reason why, um, there's a lot of misunderstandings now with social media. Everybody has their own story, their own channel, if you will. So, what is the shadow? Could this closeness have a shadow or a toxic side to it? And if you've been watching, you know that anything to the extreme can have a shadow side. Shadow is negative side. Part of that is I love the interdependence because no man is an island. However, when we don't learn to self-regulate, we don't learn to listen to our own bodies, and instead we're learning more about the look of the other person. Are we upsetting them because we are so considerate? I understand that I've been brought to be very considerate as well. I think you should keep that. It is good to be considerate of others, but it's also equally important to be considerate of yourself. And we often have this language, which I actually, my wonderful caregiver who took care of my babies while I was working, helping me out before, used to say, kawawa naman. And I would say, no, 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 I try not to use that often. I'm not saying that's bad, but when we are acting just based on pity, and it's almost like we're wearing our emotions on our sleeve. I love emotions, nothing to be scared about with emotions. But when we are wearing our emotions, we are only doing it for the other. In the real ecosystem, so when you think about um, the world, there's an ecosystem, there's an interplay. You might not benefit right now, but in the long run, you would eventually benefit. So it's like a give and take, but you're giving everything. And sometimes the take that you might receive is just the feeling of feeling good. That might be something, that might be a reason. The point is, with being connected, sometimes we become disconnected with our own bodies, our own thoughts, our own dreams. So I think, the reason why I'm sharing this video, I think that you can have both, that you don't have to choose whether to just do something for the other. I'm just connected. Whatever they want, that's all I'm going to pursue. That you can also say no, when it works out for you in the long run. Whatever you do, just because you're doing it out of obligation, but you're like bitter about it inside, that could sprout out. S- That could sprout up, I should say. It's like planting something, and maybe you didn't take care much of it. So maybe when it grew, it had brown leaves, and I think it would be much better for the garden when you're planting seeds that you prefer to have in your garden. The other plants might not know that yet. They may feel irritated that you're not ready to plant yet. Just hence when you're saying no to someone or not yet. Also, one thing to remember, that when you're saying no, it's probably a no, but it's also a not yet, possibly a not yet. So I encourage you, my friend, to consider yourself, to connect with others, and to continue to connect with yourself, that you can have both and that you don't have to choose. Maraming salamat po sa pakikinig. Come check out thecalamansyjuice.com. I've written many articles there. Uh, Take good care. I hope this video served you today. This is Roanne, Digia Samos, licensed psychotherapist here in California. Ingat!